Grand Regent Thragg. Despite having fraud allegations placed against him by the internet, mainly because of his overall, babyface appearance and voice actor, he is the strongest Viltrumite of them all. The Viltrumite who harbors the sharpest hairline in the known universe. And he knows it. The living embodiment of aura. He pays his aura debt in full and farms that shit for no reason other than for the love of the game. I swear to God. By the way, spoiler alert for Invincible episodes 7 and 8. So click off this video now and get the hell out of here if you didn't tap into those two yet, because Thragg, well, firstly, rent is due, and secondly, bro, did you see how he was moving in episode 7? Okay, wait, so hear me out. Gonna keep things brief since I don't want this video to be too long, but we learned a bit about the Viltrum Empire's backstory at the beginning of said episode. Here, we get introduced to a younger Thragg, participating in a council meeting with the other top dog Viltrumites in the Empire, which includes General Krieg, Thetis, and Emperor Argal, who, fun fact, the last two were voiced by Peter Cullen and Frank Welker respectively. We got Optimus Prime and Megatron in the same show again, shout out to them. But even though he's serving as second in command as a soldier, and despite the fact that he casually just brought up the idea of committing genocide against an alien species here, you can just see how sharp this nigga Thragg's hairline is. God damn, hold on, look at how sharp that lineup is. That shit is looking straighter than me. W buzz cut, bro. Oh my god. So fast forward a bit, and we come to find out that Thetis ended up going against the Empire and assassinated Lord Argal, by giving him the Megatron from the Dark of the Moon treatment. Invincible and Transformers in the same video on his channel. How poetic is that? Anyway, so after his death, Thragg assumes control of the Empire by becoming the Grand Regent, and we get a side profile of bro while he's speaking during his inauguration speech. And god damn, dog, once again, look at that fucking lineup. You can tell that Super Freddie Mercury over here has been consistent with keeping his hair and mustache well trimmed and groomed and whatnot. Let me find out they got black barbershops on Viltrum, bro. Who is this nigga's barber? Listen, I'm rocking freeform locks right now, but swear to God, I'm calling up his barber and telling him to come down to earth peacefully if I ever need a lock chop or something. I'm just saying. Oh my god. But to make things even more deranged than what they already are, Thragg, still repping the medium buzz cut and 90-degree hairline, ask a fellow Viltrumite if he'll ever, betray the planet and the Empire and whatnot. The brother Viltrumite denies this, swearing loyalty to the Empire, but Thragg, not believing a single word he says, formed his hand into the signature blade formation and decapitates him as a show of authority, broadcasted in front of the entire planet. The Empire's elite guards fitted him with a fluffy white cloak that befits someone with the title of Grand Regent, plus 5,000 aura points by the way. But right after this, he commands the Viltrumites to slime each other out so they can purge this weakness of betrayal out of their ranks. So Thragg enters his throne room and straight up aura farms, contemplating while showing off the fit, all while the population outside continues to commit war crimes against each other, man. Oh my god. This is the nigga that had fraud allegations against him, by the way, dog. You can't be serious. You guys know Conquest, because despite seeing him days later and being excited to try his luck at throwing the ones with the newly appointed Grand Regent, even he recognized to stand down and not fuck with this walking black Air Force. Yes, you heard me. Thragg knows he will walk Conquest down in a hand-to-hand fight. Conquest, in case you didn't know, is canonically scared of Thragg. And his hairline too, he's jealous, I'm just saying. So now, we pretty much cut to the present day. Thetis, along with Nolan, Mark, and sadly Oliver, are leading a final attack on Viltrum, hoping to end the Viltrumite war right here and right now. The crew flies through the ring of dead bodies left in orbit by the Scourge virus, and they spot Thragg, just floating there aura farming, showing off the cut and stash combination, just waiting for them. Thragg wasn't alone either, as he ordered his Viltrumite forces to play dead in a ring of bodies to lead the coalition forces surrounded on all sides. An aura farm he did, because I shit you not, for the next 5 minutes he stood at that same exact spot and watched as his forces in a coalition engaged in a brutal showdown. At one point, a stray bullet from Space Racer almost struck Thragg after piercing through a few Viltrumites, and Thragg, with the power granted to him by his hairline that allowed him to forecast such an event, just floats backwards, dodging the attack while staring directly at the audience. Who does he think he is? He promptly asserts his dominance over Nolan by dodging his attack with both arms behind his back, rubs his balls against Nolan's face, and sends Omni-Man flying down a Viltrum surface with one punch, turning him into a fucking meteor, nigga. Anyway, Thragg flies down on Nolan, and the two have a peculiar conversation about, well, everything, with Thragg at one point doing his best to try to convince Nolan to rejoin their ranks. Nolan disagrees, but regardless of that, the two move into Thragg's throne room, where we see the coffin of Emperor Argal and his skull that Thragg keeps around because he's lonely. Just like that dead nigga Conquest. The two argue over which side is the true victor out of the conflict in its entirety, with the argument ending after Nolan states he won't help Thragg rebuild the Viltrum Empire. So instead of somehow finding a way to end things peacefully between the two, Thragg, with the mystical power granted to him by his hairline, began winding up a punch so hard that it created a vacuum, powerful enough to suck Nolan in, and uppercutted him with such force that it turned him into a reverse meteor, sending Nolan out of orbit and beyond the planetary ring of dead Viltrumites, all while keeping his lineup intact. He turned into an airbender, nigga. That is crazy. Out of all shows I watched, movies, anime, whatever, never have I seen someone send another person in and out of the atmosphere so hard that they turn into a fucking fireball. Not once, but twice, mind you. 2 times. Swear to God, I might as well end the video here because, bro, I read the comics, and let me tell you, Thragg was not moving like this in the fucking books, dog. Oh my God. The coalition is cooked. Yo, before we continue, like the video, subscribe, and hype the video hype the video if you're enjoying it so far. I think it's time we finally hit 20k on this channel. But anyway, yeah, let's get back to the show. So now we're back in Viltrum's orbit. Oliver spots the Grand Regent once again, showing off the fit and cut in space, you know what I'm saying? He rushes by and's lonesome with a shitty one-liner, boldly ignoring the fact that earlier in the episode, the crew specifically told him to not engage Thragg alone. Niggas don't listen. Oliver immediately regrets this decision because this Viltrum nigga Thragg straight up catches bro before he could lay his fingers on the lineup and straight up mutilates a kid, talking that talk while doing it. Mark tries to save him, but Thragg said, "Fuck out of here, nigga," and tosses him away like he wasn't the main character of the story. Thragg tells Mark that Oliver lost the genetic lottery. He is nothing but a failure, but Mark exclaims that he was the one who killed Conquest in the last video uploaded on his channel. You should probably do me a favor and watch that one, by the way. I think you like it. But Mark basically says that Thragg is next up on his slime list. Everyone looked at Mark in shock, including ah, shit. Curious, Thragg invites Mark to get a hit in. Invincible rushes in, ready to deliver the punch that could possibly end this entire war for good, but Thragg shifts his head forward, hairline first, Mark's fist making contact, and we get greeted by the most nefarious impact frame of all time. Thragg is literally a demon. This is death incarnate, death by hairline, dog. If you touch that fade, then you better get familiar with a gravestone. How do you give someone an impact frame and they take no damage from it? I swear to God, I'd rather get tortured with Arby's for the rest of my life than experience that when fighting somebody. I'm good, bro. They got it. Speaking of getting it, Mark was getting his salad tossed. Thragg ore farming and even taking the time to bitch slap the boy. So, just to keep this video on topic of me admittedly doing tricks on Thragg, pause, Nolan, Datus, and Mark, with the help of Space Racer, had no choice but to fly through the core of Viltrum and blew up the entire planet into smithereens. All of this just to get the remaining Viltrumites to surrender. Look at Luke and he is shell-shocked. I don't even have the chance to visit the planet's barbershops or locticians anymore. Fuck! You can just imagine the sheer anger and frustration Thragg felt at this act of violence, and with his lineup of death still intact, he announces he'd rather choose death than to give up, and rushes towards our 3 heroic Viltrumites and grabs on a Thetis, ripping Unk's head off with the ferocity of 1,000 suns! Yeah, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about anymore. Thragg said Unk's hairline is fucking trash and pops Unk's head like a zit. Tells the remaining coalition that they're all next and starts dog walking the fuck out of Nolan. Nah, wait, I take that back. Thragg was taking turns on them both. Him and Mark nearly at the same time. Mark even tried to run away, but Thragg was on his ass like he owed him money. He was on dick like his name was Fleece Johnson. That man gripped Mark up and was ready to send in a spectator mode until Nolan interrupted, saving his son, but ended up getting turned into a Viltrumite-sized donut in the process. I know, believe me, this shit is nuts, but it gets worse. Mark sees his father getting impaled and throws a fist at that super-powered lineup, but nah. Once again, Mark is literally doing negative damage. Oh my God. Thragg, knowing that his clean cut was the target all along, gripped Mark up and gave him what he wanted, priming his hairline with doom and forcefully headbutts Mark so hard that he created wind in space. Technically, he did it before when he backhanded Mark, but here it was very noticeable. Thragg was this close to giving Mark the Thetis treatment, but takes a look around and realized there aren't many Viltrumites left at this point in time. He lets Mark go, and along with his surviving forces, go on to find a new home. A perfect home where they can properly rebuild, repopulate, and reinstate themselves as the apex predator, the big dogs, the strongest race in the universe. Yeah, the Viltrumites have gone to Earth. So now we fast forward to episode 8. It opens up with the Viltrumites aura farming in an unspecified amount of time later, arriving in Earth's atmosphere and began causing mass carnage and death throughout the entire frickin' planet. Grand Regent Thragg, despite having his local barbershop getting nuked along with the rest of Viltrum, flexes his medium buzz cut with the well-groomed stash combo in front of the audience while his cloak blows in the wind, staring down at the burning planet just before he launches himself at it, ready to annihilate every single living being. Except he didn't. This was all revealed to be a dream in Mark's head. Thankfully he, Nolan, Oliver, and the rest of the coalition, besides Thetis and MIA Battle Beast, that's a whole other thing. But yeah, most of the cast survived their battle on Viltrumite turf, are heading back to Earth. Mark though, especially Mark, was not doing well, like, at all. Mainly stemming from his brutal encounter with Thragg and the Viltrumites, and the fact that they might be here on Earth. He's suffering from severe post-traumatic stress episodes. At several points in the episode, he fearfully imagines Thragg and his Viltrumigas tearing apart and killing everyone he loves and cares about, visualizing the Grand Regent mutilating his mom, Debbie, and Nissa slaughtering everyone at his college campus like farm animals, Thragg popping Eve's eyes out of her skull, and lastly even imagines a scene of Thragg doing the infamous impalement technique on Cecil. I legit feel so bad for Mark, dude. The amount of suffering he goes through in this series is straight up asinine, and it's honestly only gonna get worse from here. If you know, you know, bro. Fuck, I'm so scared. Mark goes on a flight to try and clear his head, and so far it was working until, oh no. No matter how many times he's closed his eyes, this isn't an hallucination. This is the real Grand Regent, the real nigga. And look at him, he thinks he's Piccolo! Mark, in a panic-stricken rage, attacks Thragg with not one, not two, but 6 impact frames, each punch on the immaculate cut once again doing negative damage. But Thragg pushes him away and gives Mark the ultimate ultimatum. Thragg tells Mark that he and his people will live amongst humans and use them strictly to breed with them, repopulating their race in the shadows. If him or anybody in the coalition dares to interfere with them, expose them, fight them, etc., then billions of humans will die, and a few survivors will be turned into slaves. This nigga is beyond diabolical. Thragg will not hesitate to turn those visions that Mark had earlier into a reality. They are using humans as a slab of meat. Our GOAT had no choice but to accept these terms, with Thragg solemnly telling Mark that he, in a sense, unfortunately became the savior of his people, and flies away telling Mark that he won't ever see him again. Damn, that hairline is threatening. Your number one op is literally sleeping right outside of your doors. Long story short, it's over. Look, man, all I'm saying is, if Thragg finds a human barber that's able to put in as much work as the ones on Viltrum, then he must protect that man or woman at all costs. They have to be the safest person on Earth. I swear to God, they have to keep that hairline sharp and immaculate. Also, unrelated, but look at General Krieg, man. He just put up on Earth literally a few weeks ago. How did he already rizz up a baddie? And who the fuck taught him how to smoke? Oh my God, bro. This series is peak, man. Absolute cinema. But yeah, that's all I got for this one, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. And hopefully I'll see you in the next upload. I have an idea when I'm dropping. But yeah, much love. Stay safe. Like and, subscribe if you want to. And hype the video if you enjoyed it. Yeah, please, bro. I'm getting desperate. Ran this through. But yeah, much love, guys. Deuces.